Lance, do we have our 7 o'clock, or is that what
He's
you were
ready to
telling me?
go.
Oh, there
no,
we
I was
go.
saying you had time to go get coffee.
Oh, that's the important things.
Yeah.
That's one thing for those of you who've never been involved with live radio. You have to know down to the second what your breaks are and what you can take care of during that time. Well, with us here is Lathan Zimmerman, a lawyer with Taggart Rhymes, who focuses on litigation and government relations, a Bulldog, and he wrote a piece recently about recruitment from Mississippi. Good morning, Lathan. How are you doing?
Hey, morning, Lucian. I'm doing good. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Absolutely. Well, I enjoyed your piece for SuperTalk.fm, talking a little bit about what we can do to bring more people to Mississippi and keep the folks we've got.
Yeah, that's right. Well, first off, part of my resume, I think Bulldog was my favorite thing that you had to say there. But yeah, I had this idea. Like a lot of other Mississippians, I'm a big college football fan, but I like to take it a step further than just Saturdays in the fall. I keep up with recruitment. These last few years, you got to keep up with transfer portal because that's where a lot of these new players are coming from. And I kind of had the thought, as we have these brain drain issues happening in Mississippi, these college football programs are starting to kind of have the same thing because they're not just recruiting kids from high school anymore. They're having to convince their own rosters to stay on the team for the next season. So Taking that thought a step further, I figured, what are their steps that they take to try to keep their rosters intact? And they can't just recruit the people they already have. They have to go to other teams and pick from them to be able to build that roster out. So if we're thinking of that in the context of our state, not only do we need to keep focusing on the efforts of brain drain here, I think the responsible thing is to recruit from out of state as well.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Talk to us a little bit about how you think we can do that, and what are some of the points that you made on how we can go recruit folks from other places.
Right. Well, unfortunately, 64 counties lost population in the census, but the good news is that 18 of them gained population. So there is a blueprint here in the state for us to get a little bigger. I think in some of these points I made in the article, right now inflation's gone up. Affordability is a huge factor for people all around the country. And we are second. And out of all 50 states, we're ranked second in affordability right now. So there's a leg up that we have. And I think we're bringing a lot of jobs in. This economic development that's happened over the last few years doesn't seem to be coming to a stop anytime soon. So I think that's going to continue to open more jobs in the state. And you combine those two factors, I think we have an interesting opportunity here to be able to seize on that and recruit folks. Because, talking about brain drain, a lot of 22-year-olds graduating college, if they have their sights set on Atlanta or D.C. or Nashville or another big city, we don't really have a similar place here in the state that's going to satisfy those big city eyes, is kind of the terminology I used in the article. So I think a lot of our focus, while we may be losing out on the 22-year-olds, I think we should recognize that our strength may be the 26, 28, 30-year-olds who are ready to come back, settle down, start their families. I think, that's where people end up coming back.
That's a great point. I mean, being a single 22-year-old in Nashville or Atlanta or something may be great, but I'd sure rather raise a family in just about any part of Mississippi than in those places.
That's exactly right. And I've talked to people, had that same exact conversation. And, if there's a political science grad that wants to go to D.C., it's going to be hard to convince them that Jackson's a better spot at that time. If they want to go, if they've grown up watching the Braves, they want to go watch those games, it's going to be hard to say, take some Shuckers season tickets instead. Okay. And not that those are bad things, but sometimes you got to get that out of your system. And then once they realize that, they want to get a little more career oriented and they want to come back home, that's where our strength lies.
Well, you talk about affordability. I have friends who live in the D.C. area, and people are living in what for them are $1 million homes that here you could go get for a couple $100,000 probably. I mean, just the affordability gap between here and other places is immense.
Yeah, that's right, and we ought to be promoting that. And I think down here, Coast Young Professionals is a group that started to highlight our own folks and how they're growing into leadership positions at younger age. And so if we're talking about this college football analogy, you know, you have an 18-year-old coming out of high school. He's a 5-star. He's got all the options in the world. And these days you're talking about money and cars too. So that might be what they're looking at. And look, I watched this SEC documentary. DJ Lagway drives a Lamborghini. Okay, so I'm not making that up.
Yeah, and he's never played a full season either. It's like 5 games.
That's right. They don't give me that kind of leeway at work. But but when they get to 21, 22, maybe they're not so focused on those things. Maybe they're focused on, all right, look, I need to prepare for the NFL if that's where I want to go. So I want to get visibility. I want to get more playing time. So maybe they consider a different program that's going to be able to offer that to them instead of sitting on the bench at Alabama or Georgia. So if we take that and put Mississippi in that context, I think as far as D.C., New York, big cities, it's a good place to go. But if you're looking for somewhere to go grow into leadership at a really early age in your career, I think that's something else that we can offer that those places can't.
Well, you made a great point in the article about the success Mississippi's seeing in education and economic development. There ought to be a lot of opportunities, both professionally for people, but also, we do offer some great public schools as a result of some of the hard work teachers have done over the last 10 years. So if you're starting a family, it's a great place to do it.
Right. Yeah. And the education is a great point. And that metric that you cited in the article, last year we were 16th in the country, but if you go back a couple of years, we started out in the 30s and 40s, and it's only growing up. So, that's paired in with the affordability factor that I mentioned earlier. If somebody's wanting to come here and start a family, we're starting to see that Mississippi has these things to offer. And I think perception is also a huge thing too. We got to be able to promote this stuff and let people know that
that's so true.
Mississippi isn't behind. Mississippi is starting to get ahead.
Yeah, you make a great point, because people who aren't from here, those of us who are from here, whether we still live here, whether people have gone somewhere else, they know Mississippi's a great place. But a lot of folks who don't have an interaction with the state, we don't have the best image outside of the state because of a lot of reasons. You're absolutely right about that.
That's right. And I think we ought to be telling stories of people that stay here or come back here, and let everybody know that this is a place that you can really grow.
I'm curious, you make a great point about cities, because, there's nowhere in Mississippi that's Atlanta, Nashville, New York, you pick it. But, I've always thought the Gulf Coast maybe offers the closest thing we have to being in a, quote, big city. We're not talking about skyscrapers and that kind of density, but, you do have lots going on all across the coast, lots of successful business down there, and I wonder if that's not a place that people, obviously folks from the coast know the coast, but if you're from further in the state and are thinking about a big town, if you ought not take a spin along our Gulf Coast first.
Right. Well, I'll definitely promote that, being a Gulfport guy myself. And like I said, these 3 counties down here have grown in population, and we're in proximity to big cities. So you have New Orleans, you're not missing out if you want to go over there and enjoy that for a time. If you want to live in Hernando or South Haven, you can enjoy what Memphis has to offer as well. But yeah, when you're talking about the coast, I think people are starting to realize what's being offered down here, that there's a lot of jobs that go with it too. And so I think maybe that can be a blueprint for other counties in the state to see if they can implement and start recruiting off of that as well, since it's working down here.
Well, everybody should go to supertalk.fm and check this article out by Lathan Zimmerman. Lathan, we've got about 30 seconds left. Any final thoughts?
Well, I'll do a little college football talk if that's fine, since we're halfway talking about that. We got the season starting on Saturday, so the Bulldogs will be taking on Southern Miss in Hattiesburg, and then Ole Miss is playing Georgia State, so we all have something to look forward to. Just know, if you have any bad moments in the week, you have college football to look forward to now.
That's a great way to end right there. Lathan, thanks for being with us. We've had Lathan Zimmerman, a lawyer with Taggart Rhymes and author of a great piece on supertalk.fm. This is Lucian Smith here on Mornings on SuperTalk, Mississippi.